Hi everyone! In this presentation, we're diving into Chapter 7, which focuses on the theories and models used in health promotion interventions. Now, fair warning, this chapter has a lot of theories. The good news is you don't need to memorize every detail. What really matters is understanding why theories exist, how they help explain behavior, and how they guide real-world health programs. By the end of this chapter, I hope that you have a better understanding of how theoretical concepts impact health, why theory-based planning is so important, how the ecological perspective fits into all of this, and how theories can even help with evaluation. So basically, this chapter answers the question, why do people do what they do, and how can we create and design programs that actually change that? Before jumping in, we need to clarify some vocabulary because most of these words get thrown around a lot and can be confusing. A theory explains how and why things happen. It predicts behavior. A model is more like a practical tool. It pulls ideas from different theories and puts them together in a usable way. Concepts are the building blocks of theories, and constructs are concepts used within a specific theory. And finally, variables are how we actually measure those constructs in the real world. One of the biggest takeaways from this chapter is that theories are the backbone of health promotion work. They help ensure we're not just guessing or relying on our intuition. There's no such thing as a perfect theory. The best theory is simply the one that fits your program, population, and goals. This chapter separates theories into two big categories. First are planning models and theories, which help guide how programs are designed, implemented, and evaluated. Second, probably my favorite, are the behavior change theories, which focus on explaining how and why people change or don't change their behaviors. The socio-ecological approach reminds us that behavior doesn't happen in a vacuum. People are often influenced by their personal beliefs, their relationships, their community environments, policies, and their culture. So instead of blaming the individual, this perspective encourages us to look at the bigger picture. Behavior change theories generally fall into two groups. Continuum theories assume that behavior change happens along a spectrum and can be predicted by certain variables. Stage theories, however, assume that people move through specific stages or steps, and that interventions should match the stages or steps where people currently are. The theory of planned behavior explains behavior by looking at intentions. Intentions are often influenced by a person's attitude towards behavior, social pressure or subjective norms, perceived control over the behavior. Basically, people are more likely to act if they want to, think others will approve, and they believe they can actually do it. The health belief model focuses on how people perceive health threats. This one says that people are most likely to take action if they feel at risk, they believe that the condition is serious, they think the benefits outweigh the barriers, and they feel confident in their ability to act. This model is commonly used for things like vaccination and screening programs. The trans-theoretical model, also known as the stages of change model, explains behavior change as a process and not a single decision. People often move through stages like pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, and maintenance. This model is especially helpful because it reminds us that relapse is a part of the process and shouldn't be considered a failure. The stimulus response theory is pretty straightforward. It's all about reinforcement and punishment. Behaviors that are rewarded tend to continue, while behaviors that are punished tend to decrease. This theory is often used in structured environments, but is often criticized for not considering a person's thoughts or emotions. Protection motivation theory looks at how people respond to fear-based messaging. People either weigh how serious a threat is against how capable they feel of protecting themselves. If they believe that a threat is real and that they can handle it, they're more likely to take action. The elaboration likelihood model explains how people process persuasive messaging. Sometimes people really think about a message, and that would be considered the central route. At other times, they rely on quick cues like emotions or credibility, or the peripheral route. This is why messaging matters so much in health promotion. The information, motivation, behavioral skills model says that people need 3 things to change a behavior. They need accurate information, motivation, and practical skills. If even one of those is missing, behavior change becomes much harder and less likely. The precaution adoption process model is the best one for one-time actions like getting vaccinated or starting to use seatbelts. It recognizes that people must first become aware before they're willing to act, and that awareness alone does not guarantee behavior change. Social cognitive theory explains behavior as a result of the interaction between personal factors, behavior, and environment. Key ideas here include self-efficacy, observational learning, and reinforcement. This theory is extremely popular because it accounts for both internal thoughts and external focus or influences. The social capital theory focuses on the value of relationships and community connections. Similarly, social network theory examines how social ties influence behavior. Both remind us that health is often shaped by who we're connected with and not just our personal choices. Community-level theories zoom out even further, focusing on institutions, policies, culture, and environment. This includes the diffusion of innovation, which explains how new ideas are spread throughout a community, and the community readiness model, which is used to assess how prepared a community is to take action. This section of relapse and prevention reminds us that relapse is common and should be expected. A lapse is a one-time slip-up, while a relapse is a complete return to old behaviors. Effective programs plan ahead for high-risk situations rather than assuming behavior change will be permanent. When selecting a theory, planners should clearly define the problem, identify the target behavior, understand the population, choose a theory that fits the situation, and the theory should guide the intervention, not the other way around. No one theory works perfectly in every situation. Some theories oversimplify behaviors, others ignore context, and many more don't even translate into real-world practice. This is why planners often combine ideas from multiple theories. To wrap things up, this chapter highlights the importance of using theory to understand why people behave the way they do. There is no single best theory, just the best fit for your program. When used thoughtfully, theories help improve planning, intervention design, and evaluation, ultimately leading to better health outcomes.